It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity
with your succulent tip of the day. And I
have my Master Gardener hat on today, so to speak. I did a couple of promotional videos for them. And I thought I'd roll it right into my tip of the day, because what I did is this area right here, for those of you that pay really close attention, you remember that it was just overwrought with cotyledon or biculata. I love this plant, but it looked leggy and gross, and it was in need of working. So I thought this would be a good one to teach them how to work with plants as cuttings. But that left a big gaping wound in my garden. So I got inspired to move this pot, which was over in the other corner and completely lost. I never saw it. You never saw it. Move it over here for height. But then it occurred to me that this Aloe Mr. Toothy that's in here isn't the right plant because it blends too much against the fence. You can't really see it. So I got to looking around my garden for a replacement, and I found it. This is another thing that's been bugging me for a minute. This Aloe Veombi I planted in this spot by the waterfall as a 1-gallon plant. It was a project leftover. I remember I just couldn't work it into the design for some completely unknown reason. And now it is starting to trunk, and it is looking a little out of balance here. Now this is where I want you collectors to avert your gaze. Go to your happy place. Okay, so I am not really interested in this plant growing into a tree right here by the pond. So I'm going to work with it as a cutting in that pot where it is, I promise, going to pop. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut it. Then I'll dig the trunk out later. But for now, we'll just take this, and then I am going to put the Mr. Toothy in its place over here. The Mr. Toothy has more of a lower growing habit, so I think it'll be better suited to that spot. This isn't really very heavy either, surprisingly. Okay. Let's get this guy out of here. This was another project left over, and I just stuck it in this pot to stick something in the pot. So it hasn't been in here for very long, which is why it comes out very easily. You can see that was like in a 1-gallon can too. It has grown exponentially. Okay. Now, I need to backfill just a tittle. This is amend. Hey, it's all I had in the garage. It'll be fine. I'm just going to throw a little on top here. Well, why I'm throwing this on top is to raise the soil level, because I took a bit when I took that Mr. Toothy out. So there we go. Just raising up the soil level. I want this aloe to be front and center, and since I'm popping it in as a cutting, I'm going to take my top dressing rock that I fetched out of the pot before I pulled out Mr. Toothy, because this is that really pretty jade stuff. That around. Okay, now I can pop the aloe, and we will see together if I'm right, because who knows. Yeah? Better? Oh my God. Wow, I'm having a religious experience right now. Holy Mother of Pearl, look at that. Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, look at how somehow this plant, the texture of it, pulls out the texture in this pot. And this was just luck, people, I swear. And the color of the leaves against the color of the pot. I have now turned this into the world's most interesting corner. Damn. And as if this day in the garden couldn't get any better, as I was walking over here to dig out the Veombe trunk and stem, I realized I don't need to plant Mr. Toothy in here. This is really fine. We just need to make a couple of adjustments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this root system and trunk in play, and we'll watch and see if it regenerates or does anything. And I'll take this Fred Ives, clean him up, limb him up a little bit, kind of tuck him in here amongst the Diamondia. And you all have heard me talk a lot about this plant. This is that non-succulent ground cover that is spectacular in cooler months. Look at it. I mean, it's growing literally like everywhere in my yard. Okay, let's tuck in Fred Ives. And there you have it. I love that. So I have, kind of a nothing burger hot mess right here. And yes, I could just rock all of this in, but I do have these cotyledons that I cut up. Like I said, this is a tough, fantastic plant. So I think this is going to look really good if I underplant this pot. You always want to underplant your pots with something to anchor them visually and soften the look in the landscape. And yeah, I like that. That looks good. So I can do some more of that. I think this is too heavy though. I'm going to cut this smaller. I feel like this is just going to flop over. Okay, so basically, in essence, what I've done is created even more new plants for myself. Take this one. There. And I'm limbing up just so I've got a little bit of stem that'll anchor in the ground. Oops, my succulent did not stand up, thus I have not done my job. What's holding it up, this big aeonium that you see right here, it's got this massively long trunk. It was actually planted against the fence, and over the years, it has worked its way all the way out to here. What a camera hog she is. But I don't want to mess with it because that looks so good. Okay, now also I found this really cute watering can, kind of lost back there, which I will restage in this area. I'll mess around with this, and I've got this aeonium, really cute aeonium sunburst that I can also plant. I don't want to plant it in front though, do I? Because it's going to grow taller and cover up those orbiculatas. So maybe tucked right here would be good, because this is an arboretum, which means it's going to get tall. And putting it behind this giant dinner plate aeonium and in front of the cotyledons will also offer it a little bit of protection as we move into the warmer months of the year. Okay, when I was messing around in here earlier, check this out. I found this bowling shoe. Hannah and a friend planted this up. What would you say, Hannah? Like
my ex-boyfriend?
Well, I just meant how long ago? Was it like 3 years ago maybe, or
Probably
3 or 4 years ago? She planted this as a cute little cutting in this bowling shoe. Isn't that hilarious? So we'll see if we can't resurrect this another time, but I just thought you guys would get a kick out of that. So, I'm going to roam around my garden now and see if I can go over to the Garden of Death. Oh, great news. Greg has agreed to allow me to move the barbecue to the garage, which opens up like 4 or 5 feet of new real estate. So, options. I could make a new tidy garden of death. I could do an installation over there. There's a few different options, but I digress. For now, I just want to find a couple more things, maybe something more colorful and that I can finish up here. Then I'm going to go into my bag of tricks in the garage and try to find a little more rock. And you know, I think that will finish this area off nicely. Sometimes less is more. Do you like this?
I like it.
Yeah? Okay, it does look good there, because from here I can't really tell. I don't want to take away from the gorgeousness that is this.
Well, maybe when you replant, you'll see.
Yeah, so you know, this obviously isn't permanent. We can move it around, take it away, put it back, whatever we want to do. So, anywho, oh my goodness, you are going to find magic in your garden today too. I have a really good feeling about it because things are always working out for us. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity, reporting from her backyard with your succulent tip of the day.